Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Sports Fall. Jersey Joe Archino back here in Game 5 of the 2016 NBA Finals. Obviously, kind of gave us what we've all been asking for, and that's really a return of the versatility in LeBron James' offensive skill set. And I think largely in this series, you have seen him be really one-dimensional and really not expanding his offensive game to where we know it can be. And certainly not just him, but Kyrie Irving last night. They opened up their offensive game, and it's the reason that the Cavaliers were able to pull off such an enthralling victory. But I think you just look at LeBron on his face yesterday, and it's the range was the thing that set himself apart. Golden State was challenging him. They were giving him the space, and they dared him to take the shots, and he took them, and he was most certainly making them. And I think most importantly for me, someone who's been watching LeBron for so long, someone who's studied his game so carefully, you know that the versatility and just the unpredictability of his game is the thing that makes him so dangerous. And in that game last night, whether it was from the three-point line, whether it was him being aggressive and driving to the basket, or whether it was him just hitting mid-range shots from around the perimeter, he had it working in all facets, and that's one of the reasons why he was so unpredictable and why the Warriors' defense could never get a good feel for him last night. It's because he was just hitting his shots from everywhere, and it's something he had not done in this series, and it's such a welcome return for him, I'm sure, because that total offensive package has always been there, but it was not there for us to see in the series to this point. I think now when you look at it with Cleveland going back for Game 6 at their own place, I think that you've got to be a little bit more optimistic, especially with the way that LeBron has opened up his offensive skill set like he did. But Kyrie Irving is, of course, the main guy who stole the show. Now, you go over LeBron's numbers: 16 of 30, 41 points, 7 assists, 16 rebounds. Just incredible stuff. And we all know, and we've all talked about for so long how good LeBron is, but I've been emphatic about it, like many others have, that Kyrie Irving is the driving force behind the Cleveland Cavaliers. There's just no way about it. He impacts the team, not just on offense, but on defense. He's the guy who gets them going in every single facet. He's the reason they will succeed. And coming into the finals, that was the guy that I thought was going to be the reason Cleveland lost or they won this series. And he really did not play well in games 1 and 2, and that's the reason why they were so one-sided in Golden State's favor. But then Kyrie started to get back in rhythm, and as we've seen in the last 2 games, and especially last night, he just has that ability, that next level that he can go to. And LeBron's never really played with a teammate like Kyrie. Now, Dwayne Wade is, of course, the best teammate LeBron has ever played with, period. But even Dwayne Wade was hobbled with injuries and was never his full caliber self with LeBron at times. When Dwayne Wade needed to be, he did always step up in the playoffs. But largely, I don't think that you ever saw the full package Dwayne Wade. And we've surely seen the full package Kyrie Irving on display. I mean, you look at his numbers: 17 of 24, 41 points, 6 assists, the 3 rebounds. And it's just the way he impacts the game in every single way. I mean, he has the ball in his hands. He is the point guard for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and he truly does impact the game in every conceivable way. And the reason why they really did have so much success, and I think people are seeing it now more than ever, why he's the driving force behind their success. Of course, LeBron is always going to be instrumental, and Kyrie Irving can't carry a team by himself. But when the two of them have a game like this, that's what you need to. Sometimes it's not pretty when the rest of your team isn't able to give you that much, but we saw when LeBron was in Miami, sometimes you're going to have games like this where you just need a Wade and a LeBron to carry everything. And that was a situation like that where LeBron and Kyrie had to be the best players. They had to be the ones carrying it all, and they had to be the ones scoring those points. You look at, I mean, they basically, out of all the points scored, 97 of the Cavs' 112 points, they basically were either assisted or scored on. And I mean, that right there just tells you everything that you really need to know about the way that the game went. And again, people knock Kevin Love. Kevin Love has not been an asset to the Cavaliers during this playoff run. It's just, there's no way about it. But I mean, I don't think it's fair to fully knock him, because that third player who we had seen be so good before is always going to have a decreased input on offense, on defense, doing what they do with their numbers. It's always going to take a dip when those other two alpha players are doing what they do. Look at Chris Bosh. People always forget. In Game 7 of the 2013 NBA Finals, Chris Bosh, when the Heat's back was against the wall, scored 0 points. That right there, again, is very telling. Kevin Love, 2 points last night. Obviously has not been a big contributor in this series, but I don't know if it's as much about Kevin Love just not fitting in, or if it's just about sometimes this is what happens. Look at what happened when Chris Bosh kind of got back, put into place when LeBron went back to Cleveland. He's back to averaging 30 points a game, being an incredible asset to the Heat. But when LeBron and Wade were there, having to carry the brunt, being the alpha males that they are, Chris Bosh, his numbers dramatically decline. It's what happens sometimes. Chris Bosh, 0 points in Game 7 of the 2013 NBA Finals. Kevin Love, 2 points last night. Again, it wasn't pretty. He hasn't always fit in at times. It is a little bit of a different scenario here than it was with Bosh. But I think even though they are different, they're similar on their face of what it means when that third player, his numbers are going to dip a little bit. And also, it's kind of funny, for so long the knock on LeBron is he's not clutch. He can't get it done when it's clutch. But really, since the 2011 NBA Finals when he lost to the Mavericks, he has shed that label in every conceivable way and just run as far away from it as you possibly can. After last night, he has the highest average of points per game when facing playoff elimination. 32.4 for him. MJ is second with 31.3, and Will Chamberlain third with 31.1. But I mean, again, it just shows you there how many times have we seen LeBron's teams faced in a position like this where their back is against the wall and he delivers a performance like this. Now, Kyrie Irving is obviously the main driving force behind that last night, but you would be ignorant to ignore what LeBron did in that game, and we've seen him do time and time again. And I think that was one of the frustrating things about this series, is LeBron had shown this total package of offensive versatility and being able to beat you in every conceivable way, and especially last season where he had no help with the injuries that took place with the Cavaliers. And he put together the most remarkable run I've ever seen from one player carrying a team, and we've seen LeBron do some amazing things with carrying some lackluster teams before, but last season was the total package, and this season a little bit of that had not been evident, but last night it was there. And now the question obviously shifts to, can Cleveland carry this momentum? And I still think it's going to be exorbitantly difficult. Golden State is just built perfectly for this day of age in the NBA, and it just, the depth is the big reason behind it. Cleveland, at the end of the day, are Kyrie and LeBron going to be able to sustain another two performances like this? It's not outside of their possibility. They are as transcendent players as you get, and whenever you have players like that, it is possible. But I just think at the end of the day, Golden State it just has the total roster. They're built perfectly for this day and age in the NBA. Obviously, with Draymond Green coming back, he's going to be fired up, and that's going to fire them up. I do think it will go to a Game 7, but I picked Cleveland. I kind of picked Golden State at the beginning of the season to win the title. I picked Cleveland at the beginning of the playoffs to win it. So at this point, I think if it does get to a Game 7, I still have a lot of thinking to do, but I do think it will get to a Game 7, because going back to the Quicken Loans Arena for the Cavaliers, that is going to be an extremely difficult place for Golden State to play, because Cleveland's got their life brought back in them. Tristan Thompson, who largely has been disappointing in this series, he has played better last night with the 15 rebounds that he was able to pull down. It doesn't always have to be pretty, but you need those contributions. You need J.R. Smith to hit a couple threes. You need Tristan Thompson to be able to pull down some boards. And then Kyrie and LeBron, they are the driving force, and that's what they did last night. And I think they will get in a Game 6, you will get something similar. Maybe not as transcendent because that was an all-time performance we saw from them, but I do think that you will be able to see something special from them again. And whenever you have two transcendent players like that, nothing is outside the realm of possibility. But until then, Jersey Joe Archino here with the Sports Ball. You can follow me on Twitter at Joe Archino and on Instagram, Jersey_Joe_Archino. And I'll see everybody next time.